There, Clinton, the music got too loud.
Oh,
Were you talking?
goodness. Is it going to be one of those days already? 20 seconds in, we haven't seen each other all day.
Listen,
and we turn on the air and we're already fighting.
I let you have one last week. You got a couple of shots in last week. I thought, you know what? Just relax. Let Clint have his fun. You know.
I wonder how Greg feels about you using me as your ice cream punching bag on Friday night.
He probably feels satisfied with the amount of ice cream he ate on that all-you-can-eat vacation that they gave him.
He probably didn't even watch. Anyways, welcome everybody to Rivalz Race Chat. Clinton, Geoffrey, and Ross here with you as always as we welcome you into the...
There's no probably. There's no probably about it. I have to... There we go. Got to turn my camera back up. For obvious reasons.
Where do we start from here, Adam? We've had an interesting week. We've had some races.
Wherever you want, one bag.
Out. Pardon me?
One Clinton, one bag Geoffrey. We can start wherever you want. Let's start with warm drinks for the crew.
Let's start with, I told you I wasn't responsible for any of that. You know, you want to talk about, you're going to bitch at me about bringing one bag of ice when, where's your buddy Garrett Tamirsma? Because Garrett saw me Sunday morning, I think it was, and I was standing on the roof of the concession running 1,000 feet of cable. And where were you? Probably taking some driver's notes and kissing ass in the pits. And
I was learning how to say Teamersma.
He looked up at the roof at me and said, "Are you really running those?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he goes, "Holy cow, you do everything." And I'm like, "Make sure you tell him I'm not." Anyways,
you picked the perfect driver because he tells me, "Adam, you nail it. You get my name right." And I even said it right after every time and I've butchered that name for years and years. So it's a perfect example. But Garrett Teamersma, yeah, did he come and see you Sunday morning?
Yeah, he was walking by. I think I was standing on the roof of the bathroom when he walked by. Anyways, let's jump into some race chat. As always, we need your comments and your questions and your input, and we'd love to hear from you if you've got anything you want to talk about. It was a crazy week here in Southern Ontario, lots of action going on. But we'll start across the river, Ransomville. Ransomville had the World of Outlaws come in on Friday, and good show as always, great crowd. Obviously, the Outlaws put on a great show, but we want to send a good pat on the back to Paulie Giovanni, one of the local 360 drivers in this northeastern area anyways, and one of the standouts. Really ran very good, finished second to Aaron Reitzel, and I think Spencer's got a couple podium picks there that we sent through. And, just good to see Paulie running good. And it's really good to see him. He's in the 10 car there on the outside.
Yeah, and Winkus Motorsports, as Johnny Gibson said, Paulie would have been the biggest upset in the history of the Outlaws. It's going to be the biggest upset in the history of the Outlaws. Like, Paulie's going to get one. The way he ran that night, the confidence you build from a performance like that, Clinton, I mean, that's impressive. When you pass Brad Sweet, that's a big deal.
I mean, Ransomville's a tough track, and if you see the pictures there that we showed, it looks like there was a pretty good cushion for them to bounce off of, and And that's, man, Ransomville's a fast track, man. When it's tacky, that outlaw must fly around that place. And I know a lot of the Canadian fans were sad they couldn't go over and see it. A lot of the Oshweekend drivers, I'm sure, would have liked to try and qualify had we been able to make that happen, but that wasn't. So we send a good pat on the back out to Paulie and shows him that you can get it done.
Way back when a lot of the times when the Outlaws come to these outskirt type racetracks, and Ransomville is one of them, 360 competitors come out and run. And if you remember, I think it was the first time Ransomville tried to bring the Outlaws, and it rained out 2 or 3 different times when they came up. But the one time they got qualifying in, and I was there with my dad, and Mike Stelter took his 360 out to run with the Outlaws, that orange number 36. And I remember Dad going over. They were close friends with the Stelter family, and congratulating Mike on trying to flat foot around like the Outlaws do. And it was an ugly, ugly lap. But he manned up for that qualifying, kept his foot to the floor, and bounced it around the ends trying to get it done. Just made me think of my dad. I wanted to share that.
There's so many great stories like that, and these smaller teams get out there with the Outlaws sometimes, and they really can put on a show. I mean, for guys like that, just qualifying some nights are big. It still pays like $800 US or around there to qualify for an Outlaw show, which is great money here, especially for the Canadian contingents. But it's no shaking anything where you go. Let's move on to Humberstone, Adam. We had our Humberstone kickoff Friday. We were there to cover it live on G-Force. Interesting. Good to see everything come back together. A lot of improvements there. A lot of questions about how the guardrail and everything was going to affect the show. I thought it was a really run program. Doug handled things well. And, first off, let's talk about Friday Night Live. I'll talk about what we went through on Saturday, and then we'll get back to it. But Spencer, roll a few clips of it as Adam and I dissect what we're seeing. Lots of good racing, though, Adam. What were your thoughts about Friday night at Humberstone?
I thought it's nice when that amount of effort goes into a place and it shows. You pull into the parking lot there and you can see they've put a lot of hours, a lot of sweat equity into that place. I loved what the guardrail brought to things, because that's always been my issue with Humberstone is it looks, when you watch them race it looks awkward. That guardrail gives a true arc to the corner, and it threw a curveball to a lot of teams. They had their challenges, but the guardrail didn't throw that curve. The fact that they couldn't go down and dip into the infield like they used to made things a little bit different. I thought the racing was great. The atmosphere was great. The crowd was fantastic Friday. And we've seen at Oshweekend for some big races, when you run multi-day shows, that sometimes the first night is a little bit lighter. They had a great crowd.
Yeah, backed it up Saturday night. I was surprised the crowd was even larger on Saturday night. I mean, I didn't see the gate numbers, but it certainly looked a lot fuller on Saturday with a different contingency. Obviously, you had the 360 sprints and the crates in there, both tour events for the Knights of Thunder and the Action Sprint Tour. And then we had the mini stocks, street stocks on Friday. And then Saturday, they brought in the late models. And man, did the Brighton and Buxton, or I should say Southern Ontario Motor Speedway contingent, they came from the east and west. And it was a late model open, meaning you can run your Southern Ontario Motor Speedway open cars against the Brighton and Buxton crate cars. Amazing racing, 26 cars. Took a little while to get the race going, and but by the end of it, it was pretty good. We won't tell you who won because it is coming up live directly after the show here tonight on G-Force Lite. We did have some sound issues that we worked out. Found we had a bad cable, so the sound is really hot on this tape. So we apologize in advance for the quality, but it is there if you want to watch it. But we have corrected that issue already. Unfortunately, we're stuck with what we've got. But I ended up calling the action there with Steve Sable, their new rookie announcer. And, so check that out a bit if you want after the races. Pretty much Jordan Poirier and Jacob Dykstra class of the field again, Adam. Great contingency of sprint cars there for the KOT and the Action Sprint Tour. Any thoughts from the sprint car races?
It was good racing. I mean, what can you say? You've got to check this stuff out. It's undeniably fantastic racing. It wasn't made easy for Poirier. I believe it was last, just a big weekend. Yeah, let's not talk about that because people can see it.
All right. I'm sure that press was all over anyways. I realized what I just did there. Sauble APC got rained out at him Saturday. Thoughts on that?
Once again, I think it's the right call to cancel things early. And really, it probably worked out for the best for Sauble's big Beat the Heat event, 150 lapper on Sunday. Because who knows of the 16 cars that ran on Sunday? I don't know how many of them were planning on running Saturday. I don't know how many of them have a backup car. So I'm not sure that they would have had all those cars on Sunday. So glad that they did, and congratulations to Andrew Grezel for taking home the big payday. One of the biggest paying late model shows of the year.
Spencer, you need to come in here and tell us what's going on. Apparently, we got some big problems going on in the control room. Let us know, Spencer. What's up? Yes, we can hear you. Spencer says we'll be back in 3 minutes, so hang tight. He's going to put a slide up, and we'll be right back. We do have a lot of clips, though, we want to show, so bear with us, folks. Well, we're back now for take 2 of tonight's Rivalz Race Chat. Adam, let's jump right into. We already talked about World of Outlaws. If you weren't with us for the first issue, we had a bit of technical difficulty there. Let's jump into some clips from Humberstone. This is the Cale Thompson Photography in-car camera with a bit of our call of the race. Check this out. It gives you a real flavor of what the drivers are going through this weekend at Humberstone on the new track. here comes the 0-1 trying to make a move on the 9. Everybody gets single file back to the bottom.
Cunningham missed the bottom of the track going down into turn 3. He's able to gather it in. Not a great opening lap for Ryan Turner in that Kingpin Farms number 91, but he's able to gather it back in. Corey Turner, though, with a great launch off the start.
What you're going to see, guys, is this track is going to change quite a bit, I think, here in this race. You're going to see it go from a lot of tack to being slick at the end of this one.
25 laps with the 23 sprint cars on it. I mean, that's going to use up a dirt track, and I mean that in the best possible way. You want it to get used up, and it's kind of a reset button because these drivers will have to find a group. George Poirier slowly closing in on Corey Turner, but not looking like the dominant car we've seen in weeks past. But
no, definitely not. He looks human here tonight, and we got Corey real slow into 1. He will get clear. We will stay under green, and it's still Corey Turner leading George Poirier, Travis Cunningham, Rand, Stretchka, then Porter and Evans.
Corey Turner about half a lap away from lap traffic. Kevin Paul is going to be the first car he encounters in that 46 machine. Rule just barely rolling back towards the fence. Not sure if we're going to be able to stay green right now where Poirier can drive that car to the bottom. Turner's keeping all the holes shut.
Corey Turner looking good in that Petro Plus 13 machine. How about Travis Cunningham? What a great run for him in third right now. That independent team, lone soldier, all by himself. So if you want to check out that, we will end the show with that before we jump into live, and you can check out that whole thing. It's also been shared on social. So pretty good deal, Adam. We're hoping Terry Vince is going to join us to talk about the decision to run against Merrittville on Monday. And, that had a lot of people in the area upset, and in the end, they managed to swap things up a little bit and switch it to Sunday next week. The ground conditions at Humberstone were real bad on Monday. Anyway, you sliced it, they were going to have issues, and we're hoping to get Terry to connect. I just resent him the link, so we'll see if he can join us here and give us his side of the what went on the weekend. Thankfully, it worked out. Merrittville had a full house last night. They actually, for the first time in a long time, had to put up a sold-out sign at the gate. They got to 75% capacity, and they had to turn people away last night. So kudos to Don. I mean, I tried to get food there, and they were swamped in every way, whether it be at the beer gardens, at the food. They were swimming upstream, and Don was running around and saying, hey, man, these are all great problems to have. And I know I talked to Don a bit about today about how to make some help, how to help things out in the food area. And we're going to help them out a little bit there too. Not to say we have the answers, but I gave him some thoughts as I stood there and made my observations about what was happening. And I think, he was really committed to try and make things better. Don's doing a fantastic job at Merrittville. Car count's been up at him. I mean, like packed fields of street stock sportsmen. Like the B mains are crazy. Just awesome to see it all come together for those guys too. And I think with the All-Canadian moving to Sunday next week, that's going to be awesome. And we're just going to announce right now, we will be live there for the All-Canadian next Sunday. We're able to get some funding together. And, I'm excited to put the All-Canadian out there. We're going to get to talk about Merrittville coming up here shortly. We're there on Friday as well. So, Brian Halliwell joining us. He says he liked the new Victory Lane. What did you think about that, Adam? I thought that was cool.
Oh, is it my turn? You were on a roll. I was going to lay down on the couch. Actually, the dog left, so nothing to cuddle with. I thought it was great. The Victory Lane was great. The place looked fantastic. Merrittville and Humberstone need each other to thrive. Healthy competition is a good thing. Unhealthy competition doesn't help anybody. It puts fans and racers in an awkward spot, because I think everyone, there are people that will only go to one, there are people that will only go to another, but by and large, I think people realize we want everything to succeed. So this was a best case scenario, move the All-Canadians to next Sunday. Glad Merrittville had a huge crowd last night. I'm too old for that kind of thing. I stayed home. Connor went with his crew chief, Rob. I could have gone down and thought, you know what? I'm taking the night off. I've had enough.
Racing was pretty good down there. That program will air tomorrow night on G-Force at 7 p.m. So if you missed that, we'll show Humberstone Saturday night, tonight at 9, directly following this program. Tomorrow at 7 will be the Merrittville race. Looking ahead to this Friday, Don gave me a few things he wanted to mention. Burger Barn is presenting the 4 Friday night Weekend classes. So that would be the 360s, the crates, both tour events for the Knights of Thunder and the Action Sprint Tour. And then also street stock and mini stock. We're hoping to get a few of the maybe Weekend cars that haven't been, racing at it. But I think I was telling most of the guys that have been racing. I can't think of any Weekend guys that are going to come out of the woodwork, to run an Weekend style night at Merrittville. I think if you're out, you're out, right?
Rob Twitchett for one. I think you'll be surprised. There's people that are motivated to get their cars out, partly because Weekend is confirmed that they're not going to run, and partly because an effort's been made to put on shows. And we're going to talk about this later on the show, Clinton, but it's the effort that people recognize. We're going to talk about it when it comes to the Sunday race at Sauble Speedway, when it comes to the Grisdale Triple Crown of Flamborough, in terms of car counts and crowds and things of that nature, and our live streams ruining short track racing. Well, if they are, so is Rogers Cable. Right? Like, all these topics do mold together. People appreciate the effort. I think some of the drama that took place over the weekend between Humberstone and Merrittville probably led to people making a statement and going to watch the races at Merrittville Monday night.
And I think you're going to see the same thing happen at Humberstone next week. People are going to say, okay, we made this decision. I think Terry's going to have a way better crowd than he ever would have, even if it was sunny and beautiful this Sunday. So I think in the end, both are going to win. Both are going to benefit, and hopefully we can get them all back working together so we can work it out. It's only going to benefit everybody, and I think that's been the message that's been carried forward. You said something else there. We definitely want to get back to the stream topic. I mean, you and I are obviously very passionate about that and how that goes. What am I missing about Merrittville? Don also mentioned if you're looking for a booth at Merrittville, they have booths still available for Friday night. $200 gets 7 people in. That's their 75% capacity. So you can get 7 people in a booth if you're interested for $200 at Merrittville. Reach out to Merrittville. And Adam, I told him we would take one from the G-Force side. I don't know how we can find 7 people to go in there, but maybe we should do that. And we'll take one, make it a G-Force booth, and donate it somehow. I'll let you pick how you want to give it away. We don't necessarily have to do it right now, but let's get a few fans out, or some folks that should be out to check out the races at Merrittville. I'm excited to see Jay get behind a couple races here, and 3 of them actually, and get involved with Merrittville. Put the finishing touches on the Action Sprint Tour and the Knights of Thunder, and that's going to be great from the Burger Barn side of things. So watch for that. We will be live at Merrittville. We have a triple header this weekend. The Dirt triple header, Adam. We're going to be at Merrittville Friday. Then we're going to Southern Ontario Motor Speedway for their first, our first look at them with sprint cars since the reconfiguration. I'm kind of excited about that. And then back to Humberstone for the Canadian. But, thoughts on Southern Ontario Motor Speedway and us going there. We were supposed to get there early, but got rained out.
I'm looking forward to going there. I wish we had a chauffeur that could take us down. But no, a trip down the 401, it's all good. For good racing, we'll go anywhere.
Yeah, I'm just hoping the weather's nice. It sucks when you got to drive there and you're just questionable. If it's hot and sunny, let's do this and have a great night. I know Blake and all the crew and Henry, they're excited to have us down there. And we'll be bringing the 3 nights of dirt action here live on G-Force Friday, Saturday, Sunday if the weather plays along. Adam, as we look forward to just let me make sure I'm not forgetting anything from those topics. Oh, yes, we want to talk quickly about Kyle Rothwell, Adam. We talked about him on the broadcast a little bit on Friday. Tears his car up, puts it back together, works till 4 a.m, and then goes out and wins. Show the pictures of that, Spencer. I thought that was a great story for Kyle.
I mean, wait a second. Doesn't just tear his car. He got stuffed head first into the wall. That is as hard a mini stock hit as I've seen in a long time. I'm not saying someone crashed him into the wall, or someone probably did through circumstances, but that car careened at top speed into the front stretch wall in turn 4. And I said at the time, so that car will never see the racetrack again. Less than 24 hours later, he's in victory lane.
Yeah, I had a lot of people come out and help him throughout the night. Got it back together. Spencer, let's just back up because I know we had a clip pulled of Humberstone's victory lane. Do you have a new image of that for anybody who hadn't been to Humberstone, see how they did that. I know we talked about that when everything crashed there. We might have forgotten about it before we move on to Sauble and talk about what they had going on this Sunday after the rain out Saturday. Do you have that clip? Play it if you do, please. He's looking for it there. So
So why
Humberstone,
don't we?
they opened up the gate at him and brought the cars right down in front. So Spencer let us know when we're ready to check that out. What do you want to do now, Adam?
I was going to say, let's move on to the next topic. Spencer will let us know when he has it. The next topic, of course, being Sauble Speedway, which Civic Holiday Long Weekend has for a long time meant a Wednesday night show, a Saturday, and a Sunday night race. For a time, it was. That's bizarre. I'm looking at, sorry about that, looking at the feed and I got crossed up. For a time, it was TQ midgets and vintage modifieds and sort of traveling support type classes. This year it was headliners, right? Late models on Saturday and Sunday, big purses. And unfortunately, Saturday got washed out, but Sunday they got their 150 in.
Yeah, Sean Chenoweth made a post about, car counts and how they weren't really where they needed to be. And it's always disappointing when you put up big money and you don't get the return on the car counts or the support.
Well, and that's what I wanted to bring into the conversation. The money doesn't matter. Like, it's proven time and time again, money does not matter. You can put as much money as you want. If people don't want to go, if they're not compelled to go, they're not going to. And promoters, there was a time when promoters used to have to hammer the phones, visit shops, get people to come to their races, get people committed to coming to their races. Social media has changed things. If people saw how much effort you put in to the Knights of Thunder sprints and the Action Sprint Tour, you, Doug Leonard, a lot of people involved in communicating with people. Hey, what's it going to take to get people to run this show at Brockville? 2 nights. Okay, you want 2 nights of racing? If we get you 2 nights of racing, who's going to commit? And you work the numbers. As much as I agree with Sean Chenoweth, like if someone's putting up $5,000 to win, these teams should be there. Can't force people to go racing. If someone says, look, I'm willing to take my $50,000 racing budget and I'm going to run the APC series. If all goes well, I'll use up all of that and I won't have to dig into any other money. And that's what I'm committed to this year. So it doesn't matter what Flamborough puts on, what Sauble puts on, what Sunset puts on. It's not in their plans, right? They do what they do. That's how racers are. So you're really almost to the point where stop putting on these races. Find another way. Sauble Speedway on Sunday of a long weekend, I promise you a big money late model race is not the best way to fill that place. Blow shit up. Run a day of destruction on that Sunday. You will overflow the facility, make more profit than you have ever made with your... And I love racing. I get why they're doing it, because these promoters love racing. But if it's about putting on a big show and making money, late models aren't even in the conversation.
No, I don't know if Sean was really digging at the money thing. And my response to that is, you're right in a few ways, because look at what we were with the 358 modifieds at Oshweek in there. Doug and I and Greg and you, and we're all big modified fans. So we used to put them on our Outlaw Monday. And 14 cars showed up for a huge payout. And the guys that were there were like, yes, this is amazing. But after 3 years of only getting 14 cars, it's the most valuable time slot with big payouts. We just gave it to the sportsman who showed up with 30 cars and half the money. It's an easy decision to make on the economic side from the support and the other side. And you try to bring the biggest and the best. And back to Saturday, obviously, I don't think it was a bad gamble, even though they lost with the weather. But if you have good weather on Saturday and you have all those APC teams hanging around late Saturday night, there's a good chance 10 more of them are going to jump over and say, well, we're already here at the beach. Let's hang around. Let's enter. We had a good night last night, or we need to shake down our car after whatever the situation may be. I think they would have had, but obviously it was disappointing to Sean Chenoweth. At least he voiced his opinion, and I'm sure the management was a little bit disappointed in the car count that people didn't make that toe up there. But let's talk about, I don't know what it was like where they were, but all around where we were, and when I say where we were, that would have been everywhere between Sunset Speedway and Humberstone Speedway, where I kind of had ties and you kind of had ties on the weekend. It looked like a shitty day on Sunday, all around. right?
That doesn't matter. For a big event, that doesn't matter. Big
Sure it
events are
does.
weatherproof. Fran has a
No,
question.
hold
Listen,
on. You can't
I'm
say
gonna just
they're not
follow
weatherproof.
me. Give me a minute. They're weatherproof. Your World of Outlaws race at Ashweekend is weatherproof. People are going to be there regardless. The teams that are going to go race there are going to show up with their trailer with a
You
car in the
cannot.
back and sit in the pouring rain. How
You
many
can't
times have we
compare.
been to Super Dirt Week and sat through snow and rain?
Adam,
People
you
are
can't
going to
compare
go.
a World of Outlaws show at Ashweekend Speedway and Super Dirt Week to a late model Sunday at Sauble Speedway. What are you talking about?
Of course I can. You've already planned your next weekend at Sauble Speedway because you're going camping for the week. You're
Yep.
going to be there. It is a big event. It's a destination. Right? Like, don't get into a tunnel vision saying, well, no, this isn't the case. And this is where we're going to come back to Fran saying when you get a $3,000 street stock race, does bringing in more top drivers discourage some of the lesser talents? And I'm going to say, no, you could have a race that race could pay $500 to win and still get the same number of drivers. Doesn't have to pay $3,000. It's the All Canadian Championship. People want to put that on their resume. You're basically giving away that extra $2,500 out of the goodness of the promoter's heart. I'm happy that he does it, but next year do it for $500. You might lose one car, you might lose two cars. They're still going to show up because people want to run that race. And if it's a cloudy day and it's the All Canadian Championships, people are still going to tow to the track to run that race.
Disagree.
At Brighton, there was a 90% chance it was going to rain. How many sprint cars did not show up?
They all showed up.
They all showed. Clinton, we knew it was going to rain. That's not
I'm
the
letting
World
you
of
have it.
Outlaws.
Then I'm
That's
going to
not
let you
Super
have it.
Dirt Week. All right, no, and I appreciate it. That's what I'm saying. If people have it in their plans that they're going to run a race, they're going to be there.
Sure,
and there's a lot of races including that.
I agree, but there's a lot of situations where drivers are on the fence. And if it looks like 90% rain, I'm not going to tow my shit 3 hours up north for a $100 payday to turn around and come back because I'm not committed enough. And what I'm saying is the Sauble Sunday race, which was a compliment to the APC show the day before, when that got rained out, that doesn't make it weatherproof. You know what I mean? I'll agree with you. The major events are weatherproof, but not always. You know what I mean? And I'll take it back to another story. So let's look at a couple things that happened this weekend. JP from Sundance Power Cleaning came in and he says, I want to make it $5,000 to win the Action Sprint Tour race on Saturday night. Throws his money in. That's awesome. Jacob Dykstra gets it done live. Then we come back and messaged me yesterday. Says, I want to throw in another he said, ask me what the payout was. I said 1,000 win. He said, so you need $4,000 from me then. And I said, what, you want to make it $5,000 to win this Friday at Merrittville? And he said, yep. And I said, JP, why don't we spread it out and give everybody an extra $200? And that's how money will make racers come to the track. We're going to pay them all to come and spread it out. Because I agree with you, paying the top end doesn't add any more cars. Because I've never been a fan of big money to win shows. Sure, it looks flashy on a billboard. It looks flashy on your posters. But a very, maybe 10% or less of your actual teams have a shot at that money. Everybody else is racing for start money, right? So I'm there with you. But JP, I mean, bless his heart, he's going to throw $9,000, $10,000, about between $9,000 and $10,000 in 7 days of the Action Sprint Tour to the crate teams. And you're right. We already had 34 cars. No more came because he was paying $5,000 to win at the last minute. We're still going to have the same amount at Merrittville. But, let's bring in Terry.
I just think that's
here in a second. Anything else you want to wrap up there, Adam, before? I don't mean to cut you off.
No, I point taken. Point taken. And I mean, one of the proudest things we ever did, Clinton, when the Art Hill Memorial Race was created, it was very important that it pay $100 to start. Do you remember that? Like, we're going back almost 20 years with that. Let's reward everyone that makes it into the show. Basically, you were getting paid as much as you would to win back then, just for qualifying. And it had some money at the front. But
same formula for Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. Pays $1,000 to win. That's almost the equivalent of a regular Friday night win at our weekend. Yeah. So yeah, $1,000 to start, $10,000 to win. So that's an awesome kickback. So guys are racing just to get into 30th place in that night, right? And that's why we got 75 cars.
To your discredit, if it was 500 to start, people would still show up. If it was 300 to start, they'd still show up. Because it means something to race. Right, I'm glad it's done. I'm glad we don't get me wrong and say we should take all the money from racers away. I'm just saying we need to recognize why people come to certain races because it's a big freaking deal.
Yep. Let's get Terry on. Terry, thank you for joining us. Terry Vince from Humberstone. Terry, let's talk about the successes of your weekend. Friday and Saturday went off fairly simple without a hitch. Were you happy with the results? Terry, let's talk about the successes of your weekend. Friday and Saturday went off fairly simple without a hitch. You gotta watch us. You gotta mute the stream and watch us on Zoom. Friday and Saturday went off fairly simple without a hitch. You gotta watch. I think we're behind. You there, Terry? Oh, Spencer, you're going to fix him up.
So Terry's talking at the right time, but somehow you're muted, Terry, on your Zoom. So unmute your Zoom, but leave the GeForce TV muted. There we go. Zoom. So unmute your Zoom, but leave the GeForce TV muted.
Spencer, take them off and fix them up if you can there. And let us know when we're good to go. Adam, so Saubles off for a bit. They rained out the APC race. We haven't got a hard turnaround on when we're going to be back at that yet. They're trying to determine what that rain date will be. We'll be there with the crew whenever it happens.
Yeah, for sure. And to answer the Crazy Rich, Terry Vince was one who he wanted his entire purse shown. All the money's paid out. And I think in most big events, you see people post the entire purse. And Mike, like I'm going to answer a few comments that we're seeing. Are we ever going to see a huge payout for pro late models like Jukasa was doing? The answer is most likely no, because it didn't make sense. You might see it again if Jukasa opens up again and runs that race, but that wasn't about smart business. That was about making a statement of having the richest late model race in the world. Or disagree with me, Clinton, if you want, but that's my
I think you're right. Yeah, it's better. So we'll get back to that. So let's jump in and NASCAR Pinties. If we can get Terry back on and work out his sound, we'll work on it. NASCAR Pinty Series kickoff, Adam. We got to call the races to NBC Track Pass and TSN Go app. Joel sent a message, said he enjoyed the call of the race. We had a good time working together in the booth and just kind of hanging out through the rain delay. It was good to hang out with you and actually be a friend for a while instead of enemies on the air. And, we don't get to hang out much on GeForce days. We're both in different roles. So, it was a good day. I thought the racing was awesome. Your thoughts, since you're the NASCAR guy, we'll let you take it away.
I still love calling those races, Clint. There's something about them. There's something about the pomp and circumstance that those teams bring. And this will tie back into the big money late model races. The business model is changing. APC is changing and shifting more like the NASCAR Pinty Series, where go out and sell a $250,000 sponsorship deal. That's where the Pinty's teams get paid. They don't get paid on the race purses. Doesn't like the NASCAR Pinty Series purses are not terribly impressive, but the business model changes, and that's a conversation we have week in and week out when we talk about events, talk about why people go places. But those teams, to see an Alex Tagliani, an Andrew Ranger, Rafael Lessard, Pete Shepard, Trayton Lapsovich, DJ Kennington. I was talking to Larry Jackson today about the show, and he says, Adam, they're all so damn good, and they are. And there was, you still see the same thing you see at any kind of racing: people getting pissed off at each other, people bumping each other, people spinning the leader out. There were some disappointing things about it. I think if you come down from some of the NASCAR's big series, I think you need to leave the mentality behind that you can dump the leader in front of the whole field and risk every car behind you. I don't think that's going to play very well, and I think that's going to bite someone right in the ass.
There was some hard feelings there with Shepard and Lassard. I don't think Pete Shepard was how they race. The action will come up this weekend on TSN, so make sure you check it out. Round 1, round 2. I see Terry Vince jumping in and out. Spencer will let me know when we're good to go there. I thought it was good action.
That's what I was going to say. I thought the shows were good. The races were good. They were entertaining. Yep.
It rained all day on us, on and off. Miraculously, around 7:30, 8 o'clock, I think it was, right as the sun was going down, the clouds broke, and they got an opportunity to dry the track. Good to see them get 2 rounds in. I like Sunset Speedway. I look forward to going back there with the APC in a couple weeks. I've always been a fan of that place. I love it there. Tosh just treated us good, so we're happy to be there back at Sunset.
Yeah, and the Super Stocks put on a good show as well. Mike C., why is it so hard to find results on the Pinty Series? I agree. Use NASCAR.ca. That takes you to Pinty stuff. NASCAR's website is atrocious. And it's a strange licensing deal. I've tried to find out before. It's challenging. But some of the stuff they do is fantastic. The race centers that they use for NASCAR, if you can find them for the modifieds, for the Penny Series, for some of those series, are really cool to follow. And the crowd was into it. Very boisterous crowd. I loved hearing the crowd.
Yeah, there was definitely some misconstrued, I think it was you sent me the Matt Weaver thing, and he said fans were booing and pelting Lassard with beer cans. I didn't see any beer cans get thrown. Did you?
No, I was a little disappointed in that. Now, in Matt's defense, he was getting secondhand information, right? So someone's feeding him information. Maybe he was trying to flash up the writing, booze and beer cans. But there were no beer cans. The beer garden is in turn 4, right? You don't come past turn 4 with alcohol. It's not like south of the border where you could.
Is on his Polish victory lap there when he drove down there. We might have missed it going out of turn 3, but I didn't see anything like that. No. It's going to be a lot of excitement as they go. Spencer showed the pictures of Rafael Lassard. He said, there was a question about when he would be back. They announced today that he would be driving the white motorsports car and this modified at GP3R. So he's going to be doing the modified road course, which is going to be wild. And then we're also going to be seeing him in the other back in the white motorsports car. Show that, Spencer, too, the other slide there. And I said he'll be on track for both. And that's exciting for a lot of the fans and for the modified crew to get them in there. So
yeah, I think that'll be a lot of fun. Now, commenters saying that they saw beer cans being thrown. So yeah, I missed it, didn't see it. But I'd like it.
After
just as it read, it made it sound like he was standing in victory lane having beer cans thrown at him, but that could be my selective reading.
All right, we'll try Terry Vince again. Terry, there. Can you hear us now, Terry? I think we're still a bit behind.
Let's interview Terry Sunday and replay it on the show Tuesday. Yep. You know what I'm saying, Clinton? Let's sit down with Terry, have a powwow then. Terry, we appreciate your time. Congratulations on an amazing weekend, but we'll do a sit down with you Sunday night.
All right. No problem. We'll move on. Let's jump into our Burger Barn video of the week. Let's go over to this was a situation that happened at Devil's Bowl in Vermont. Adam, a scary situation. 2 drivers taking a situation. That's why I shouldn't say 2 drivers. 2 drivers got into it on the track. 1 driver took it away. Do you want to say anything about this video?
No. Make sure the sound is up from the very start, Spencer.
And Campbell, advantage will be to the 10 seed.
No, this isn't it, Spencer.
Jeremy Campbell leads him to the back straight.
It was the video of the modified driving in the pits and smashing into the other one. Okay, then play it. I don't think there's sound on the video, Spencer or Adam. Spencer saying not see it. Yes.
Oh, the one I watched had sound.
Yeah.
The one I watched had sound because you can hear people talking.
So what you're missing here is, that's not giving the whole picture.
Yeah, Can we undo tonight?
I was just thinking that
next Tuesday. Episode 94.
This is the worst one ever. We got
We'll
no
just
sound on this.
consider this bloopers.
Either way, Joey Scarborough, watch this man walking behind the Plaid. Another modified is upset from what happened. Comes roaring into the pits and smashes into the car in high gear. This is the
Holy
owner of
crap.
the Speedway, Mike Bruno, running out of the porta potty, running over, and he jumps in the car to try and deal with it. Show it again, Spencer. But this is just idiotic. You're taking your car through the pits, kicking it in high gear in a modified, driving it, and the stupidest part of all this is he didn't even hit the right car. This is the Todd Stone car, and he was trying to hit Demetrios Gelos. And look at this man in the Plaid. He nearly gets smoked. Jumps out of the way the last second.
Well, it makes me wonder, was Scarborough trying to square up that number one and have to swerve to avoid hitting the person and only catch the back corner of the car? Either way, very dumb.
We've had our run-ins with the Scarboroughs in the past. At least I have. But it's another story for another day. Just idiotic. Someone could have very easily been killed there. What are you thinking using your car in the pits? It's one thing to take a run at someone you use as a weapon on the speedway. A whole other thing to take it out and use it there on the track. That's just ridiculous. Totally crazy. Spencer, did I show you the Dylan Westbrook's wild ride? I think that was the video you were going to show originally. Show that one. Dylan Westbrook took a wild ride in the ASCS Tour. Play that one, Spencer.
Will be to the 10C. Jeremy Campbell leads him to the back straightaway. Blake Hahn running in second now. Dylan Westbrook trying to advance up into the 4th spot. He'll work to the inside of the 26M. Brett Maddox. Oh, look how hard contact to the front straightaway. Dylan Westbrook flipping violently into the infield. Red lights come on. And Campbell.
Dylan's first wreck like that, Adam, in 7 years of sprint car racing. It made me laugh because Travis Cunningham said, you're damn good when it takes you 7 years to bust your ass for the first time.
Yep. And they fixed that car enough to take the green flag of the feature to earn some points at least and finish second in the Speed Week point standings.
The Stickers and Scuff podcast are asking, would that not be a ban for Joey Scarborough? Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's going to be banned from Devil's Bowl Speedway for a long time. There's a situation going on. The cops were called. That is just out of control. And the beauty of it all was Mike Bruno and the management there had it on security camera, which is just perfect. And it has sound and everything. It's unbelievable. So when you hear it, it's crazy to think how wild that situation should have been. I mean, we have seen a lot of crazy things like that, unfortunately, in our 20 years in the pits. And you go to some of the other tracks, and that's where a guy like Doug Leonard, I think, is what we let. Well, let's talk about one of the things we've been trying to say, Adam, is you have to change the culture at these tracks. I mean, we tried to do it at Oshweekend Speedway, and what we mean by that is just change the attitude from everybody and explain, look, we're all here working together. And, instead of battling your race teams, you try and bring them in. And I'm super proud of what we've built with the Oshweekend family. I mean, I go back to an incident where someone was littering profusely every week in their pit stall, and there was one pit stall that we had to clean up every week, and everybody else was doing a great job. And I said, the driver's meeting, we have to fix this because this is really Glenn Steyer's backyard. You can't be throwing garbage around. We have cans everywhere. What's the problem? Are you trying to make a statement? And I think it was Chris Dickey and one of the other big guys came up and they said, this meeting isn't over until Clint tells us who it was so we can deal with it right now. And I'm like, that's what we want, guys who are going to stand behind us and, make it right and show everybody you're not going to come here and mess with our crew because we're all together on this one. And I think Doug Leonard has done a fabulous job with that at Flamborough the past few years, changing how the program runs and getting a new level of respect for the officials there. He's going to do that at Humberstone. I know Blake and everybody at Southern Ontario Motor Speedway are trying to change the culture there to make it how it is, and I think that's a big thing. You got to work with your teams to make sure, they're all looking out for you and your whole thing, right? Girls getting it done, Adam. We've got about 4 minutes left here. I just want to touch on a couple things. Let's talk about Dominique Smith and Megan Mitchell, 2 girls getting it done. We were called out last week for not talking about the girls and promoting them too much, but 2 of them produced this week.
Yeah, there was something in the air. Megan Mitchell getting her first career win at Flamborough Speedway in the Pure Stocks. Congratulations. And Dominique Smith getting what I believe is her second win in the TQ Midgets up at Sauble Speedway. So very cool. And there's always, like we say, there's so many impressive women in racing that there's always something to talk about, but we don't talk about them because they're women, talk about them because they're impressive. But thanks, Julie, for bringing it up. Like it did make us look, and sure enough, it fell into our lap on this weekend with some great performances.
Let's jump to Post Malone, and then we'll talk about Lancaster NASCAR Modified Tour, or NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Post Malone wears a Rudy shirt. Post Malone, the international star, showing wearing an Eric Rudolph shirt. Apparently there's some connection between him and the team. But wow, how cool is that? If you're Eric Rudolph and one of the biggest musical pop stars in the world has your shirt on at a concert in Chicago. This is kind of along the lines of what we talked about a few months ago, Adam, about Brett Michaels from Poison declaring that he was a Williams Grove fan, and we talked about what it would do if Justin Bieber came out and declared he was a racing fan. Man, what's that going to do for Ranceville Speedway? Eric Rudolph, I just think it's cool as all heck.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's very cool.
Let's jump into a very somber topic, and we're going to leave you on a sad note tonight. We got 2 minutes left, and then we're going to drop it off. We're going to come back. We're going to finish the show off with the Cale Thompson complete in-car video from Humberstone, and what a great mix they've done there. And then we're going to jump in right at 9 o'clock with the live light version of Humberstone from Saturday. As we mentioned, there is a bit of audio difficulty there, but you will be able to see it if you want to see it. Wow, where to start with this one? I broke up just talking about it with my wife earlier. A good friend of racing, Mikey Myers, he's a big part of what goes on at Lancaster Speedway. Fought really hard to bring the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour to Lancaster. It's a thing Mike Myers had been promoting for about a year now. The finish was amazing. The end result of the race was amazing. But why we're bringing this story is Big Mike. Mike promoted this whole thing. He was a big part of bringing it in. I mean, I remember 8 months ago when he first signed it, he invited us, actually, Adam. He said, I'd love for you guys to come up and be a part of this and just see what we're doing here. And I said, I'd love to come to Lancaster, but we'll probably be somewhere we were. Mike's son had some difficulty. Show the picture, Spencer, if you can. Big Mike is on the safety crew at a lot of places. He can't believe he's writing this, as the post says, 24 hours after I was at my highest of highs in my life. It turned into the worst days of his life. He lost his son, Zach, Adam, during the event. And, imagine, man, it breaks me up just to think about it. Imagine putting
nothing to, yeah.
Imagine putting a Field of Dreams event together. It finally comes down to that day. You've been through it all. You've worked so hard. And then the biggest moment of your life turns into the worst moment of your life. I mean, I can't imagine it. So our heart goes out to Big Mike.
Medical episode. Like, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a racing issue. It was a medical episode. And his son succumbed to it. And
it's a horrible deal. There's a GoFundMe account out there. Mike's made a career at the tracks of saving other lives. And wow, that's all I got.
So what they're doing, they're raising funds for the special school that his son attended. It's a school that receives no government funding. It is all privately funded. So they want for his son to have a lasting impression. So any donations are being sent to that school. It's a pretty great cause. So you can find it online. I'm sure lots of people have been sharing it. It's pretty easy to find.
Mike's a big, tough guy with a big heart, and our hearts go out to you, Big Mike. With that, we'll leave you with the Cale Thompson photography video and the highlight reel from Humberstone. Stick around. G-Force Light coming up from Humberstone Saturday night. We'll be live Friday, Saturday, and Sunday with G-Force Full Systems Go, 7 o'clock. Don't forget, Merrittville, we're live with all of it, kicking it off the weekend. Thanks, Adam, for your time. Thanks, Spencer. And once again, that's it.
on the inside in the 13. Travis Cunningham on the outside in the 93. Flag is out.
Off to 1 and 2 they go. It'll be a gaggle on the outside. Here comes the 0-1 trying to make a move on the 9. Everybody gets single file back to the bottom.
And Cunningham missed the bottom of the track going down into turn 3. He's able to gather it in. Not a great opening lap for Ryan Turner in that Kingpin Farms number 91, but he's able to gather it back in. Corey Turner, though, with a great launch off the start.
What you're going to see, guys, is this track is going to change quite a bit, I think, here in this race. You're going to see it go from a lot of tack to being slick at the end of this one.
25 laps with the 23 sprint cars on it. I mean, that's going to use up a dirt track, and I mean that the best possible way. You want it to get used up, and it's kind of a reset button because these drivers will have to find a group. Jordan Poirier slowly closing in on Corey Turner, but not looking like the dominant car we've seen in weeks past. But
no, definitely not. He looks human here tonight, and we got Corey Brewer slow into 1. He will get clear. We will stay under green, and it's still Corey Turner leading Jordan Poirier, Travis Cunningham, Rand, Krechka, then Porter and Evans.
Corey Turner about half a lap away from lap traffic. Kevin Paul is going to be the first car he encounters in that 46 machine. Rule just barely rolling back towards the pit. Not sure if we're going to be able to stay green right now where Poirier can drive that car to the bottom. Turner's keeping all the holes shut.
Corey Turner looking good in that Petra Plus 13 machine. How about Travis Cunningham? What a great run for him in third right now. That independent team. Lone soldier all by himself getting it done here with his mom Rose helping him out.
His first charge into turn number 3 looked a little bit awkward. I thought, oh boy, Travis. But sure enough, after that, he's been driving a great race. Keeping a big distance between himself and 4th place Tyler Rand. And we are back to slower traffic. Corey Turner takes to the outside to go around Kevin Paul's. Here comes Poirier.
And that was the gap that Poirier needed. Maybe the crack in the over. Down to 1 is Poirier gets underneath Paul, gets underneath Turner, and we have a new leader on turn 2.
I told you, it's a matter of testicular fortitude, and Jordan Poirier made Quebec proud.
Poirier leading now with Turner about a 5-car length lead. Rand starting to smoke in the 84 as he runs in 4th with Krechka, Ryan Turner.
Those positions not under contest right now. Krechka under attack from Ryan Turner. Turner gets to the inside of the 0-1.
Trying to work their way around the Burt machine. And it's over. Poirier will get it done here tonight. Turner 2nd. Cunningham will finish in 3rd. Krechka goes around off of turn number 4 and the checkers are out.
Ryan Turner gets that spot. Then it's Tyler Rand. Sean Evans hooping it. Tough finish for Mikey Krechka as he goes around there in a heated battle with Ryan Turner on the final lap. And that was a race for the 5th spot.